There was an interesting moment at the Magic Mile in the Dollar Tree 301 race at New Hampshire on Sunday between Connor Zilisch and Carson Hocevar. Both of those incidents left people scratching their heads, from the commentators on the USA Network broadcast to fellow drivers and even fans, about what Hocevar could possibly be thinking. Now, that is something you probably think on a weekly basis, but for this one, it has merit. Now, Connor Zilisch was on Stacking Pennies, where he spoke with Corey LaJoie and Ryan Flores earlier this week. And he dished the dirt on this whole situation. And it all comes down, if Connor Zilisch is to be believed, a direct product of an incident that didn't happen earlier in the race. In fact, it happened 24 hours before the race on Saturday, because it all started in practice. You remember the 50-minute practice session at New Hampshire. And according to Zilisch, he said that he accidentally made contact with Hocevar in practice. And as a result of that contact, it set the tone between the two drivers for that race. And it carried into it. So he said this: "So in practice, I came off a 4 in practice and got up to him and touched his left rear. And then because I was on new tires, he was racing me a little bit. And I accidentally got up into him. Wasn't egregious." So apparently, according to Connor, Hocevar wasn't going to let that slide. And that the Spire driver, attempted to wreck him later in that same lap in practice. Okay. It wasn't enough to even knock the toe out or anything, Connor said. And the next lap, he comes into 3. And on that same lap, I clear him in 1 and 2. And then 3 and 4. And he tries to throw this big slider and get to me and wreck me in practice. And I was like, come on, man. So again, Connor said he accidentally made contact with Hocevar. And that after Saturday's contact, that is what he feels set Hocevar off when he ultimately wrecked himself. So then in the race, I do it again on accident, meaning he gets into him. And I'm not trying to do this. I was middle 3, and it was a tight spot, and I barely touched him off a 4. And I'm guessing that probably sent him over the edge because it happened in practice too. So he just hooked a left. And I mean, his spotter was calling me there like he knew I was there. And he was just trying to do one of those door slam, like FU door slams. I mean, I didn't even have time to check. It just shocked me. Now, to Carson's credit, he was asked about the incident with Zilisch after the race, and he shouldered all the blame. He said, yeah, I think I spun myself. He got into me. I thought I was clear or something. I didn't know what I did. But I turned left and tried to get to the bottom and cover it, and I think I pretty much spun myself. But luckily, I didn't kill him in the car and ruin another week for us. So I think I spun myself pretty easily. Now, no, I just wrecked myself there. In the past, I've been pretty good at finishing the job, so that wasn't by any means that good. Okay. Do I buy the narrative that Connor is saying? They had contact in practice. They had contact again in the race. And that's what set off Hocevar. I actually do. I also buy Carson Hocevar's story, narrative, his take, his side. I actually think it's a combination of both. I think you have Carson Hocevar, who has found more success this year than in any other year, at least in Cup. And as of late, he's ran good, but he's also made some mistakes. And I think he is hard on himself. As much as he's a fun-loving guy and he likes to have fun, I also think that he loves this sport so much, that's why he's so damn popular, that emotion can bubble up. And so when he got contacted again by Connor, he probably got a little testy. And then I buy Carson's side of, I just came across his nose. It was tight coming off of 4, and it just happened. Like, you look at the footage, it's clear Carson, A, shouldn't be where he is. That was never going to work. And B, you can't blame Connor for backing down. So I think it was a heat of the moment. You're going whatever miles an hour they're going. You're going however fast you're going. And these things happen. And it's It's one of those things where these things just simply happen. And if you see that, you believe that, I don't knock them for what happened. I see what is the situation. So I commend Hocevar for taking the blame for the incident. A lot of guys would have just said, "Oh, Connor spun me," right? How dare he? No, Carson took full blame. And for a guy that gets as much heat as Carson Hocevar does for his actions on the racetrack, for his decision making on the racetrack, as well as off the racetrack, it is a breath of fresh air when you hear guys go, "Yeah, you know what? Here's what I think happened with me and Carson." Instead of saying, "Hey, this guy's a moron," or he calls him a name or whatever. This is what was leading up to it. This is what kind of set it off. And then it was a bad situation. I can get by that. I'm fine with that. And I'm also fine with, look, Carson Hocevar has the potential to be the face of NASCAR. I strongly believe that. I know everyone's like, "Oh, well, it's always going to be Chase Elliott." It may not. That dude shows no personality, right? I have no idea why people like him. I really don't. And he drives for Hendrick Motorsports, and that's my team. But I would also say, like, Connor's a guy that has struggled this year. But throughout all of it, in my opinion, in terms of in the public eye, he's handled it like a professional. Now, I can't explain his wreck at New Hampshire. Well, I guess I can. His wreck at New Hampshire. Denny Hamlin's theory is he locked up to the left front and then he got into the marbles and he couldn't go anywhere and he just piled into, I think it was Riley Herbst. It could have been someone else, but regardless. So you have two young drivers who are going to continuously find success. Connor Zilisch is having the worst rookie season of all time. Good news for Connor is he's going to get past it and he's going to get better. So if you look at it from that vantage point, I wouldn't worry too much. If I'm Carson, I wouldn't worry too much about Connor. Carson's got a reset for this chase coming up. I actually think he has a really, really good shot at winning at Daytona. And I think that would give him a hell of a shot in the arm going into this chase where he's going to need it. He's going to need it. But I think this is just a racing product and give me more, right? That's my mentality. Give me more because it's fun to follow. It's fun to watch. And this is what the sport's all about, right? So let me know down in the comments area below, who do you think is at fault? Who do you think should take the blame? And I will see y'all in the next video.